Milford Potter.
Here.
David Holst.
Here.
Lori Riedel.
Here.
John Martino.
Here.
Tyler Trudell.
Here.
Paul House.
Here.
James Weatherup.
Here.
Mary Ellen Chesbrough.
Here.
Linda Lockwood.
Here.
Richard Klein.
Present.
Patrick Twist.
Here.
Stephen Walpole.
Here.
Nathan Emmons.
Here.
Thomas Drum.
Here.
Shane Rodwell.
Here.
Heather Del Conte.
Here.
Marie Schad.
Here.
Tim Stahl.
Here.
Terry Wilbur.
Here.
James Carrassi.
Here.
Morris Sabello.
Here.
Dan Faya.
Here.
Frank Castillo.
Wait a minute.
Please stand for the invocation.
As we come together today, let us be grateful for the opportunity to live in this great country and to serve our community, for the chance to make a difference in the lives of our loved ones and the citizens of Oswego County, for the gift of each day in the company of good and decent people, and for the examples of courage and dedication they live out each day. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. On that note, very recently we lost a member of the legislature. Herb Van Schack was a legislator from the years 1976 to 1997 for 21 years. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Mr. Van Schack, please. Thank you. We're going to get started with an introduction to some visitors here. The first is an employee recognition. Let's ask Marty Weiss, Community Development for 42 years retired. I'd like to call Economic Development Planning Committee, invite Don Scanlon and Marty Weiss to join please. Legislator Stahl.
Bittersweet, they say, but I think it's all better. We're excited for you, but man, this is that kind of experience in the department and all that you've meant and all that you've done. I'm going to share with that, but just want to thank you for
And I'd just like to say a few things about Marty. How much time we got?
42 years.
42 years. So Marty was at the department when I arrived, and he told me a story about, you know, he took this job, he was just going to take it for 2 or 3 years, and I don't know, 42 years went by, and here we are today.
I'm a slow corner.
But Marty's seen a lot of technology change. He's gone from, we used to make maps, you know, the old-fashioned way with ink pens and Mylar and that kind of thing, and now we just like do a couple moves on the computer and bingo. So I don't know if he's going to be doing the bingo after he's gone, but we'll figure it out. But it's been a great time working with him, Marty, and I think you got it, something to say.
Yeah. You learn a lot of things in 42 years, but I think the biggest single thing I learned is patience. And I'll tell you a quick story about patience. 2 or 3 years ago, we were doing some field work related to building the county's interactive mapping system on the county's website. And I was out with what at that time was our newest hire, a young lady who maybe 25 at the time. And we were out on one of the many wonderful trails that are in this county. And I joked with her and I said, you know, I always wanted a job where I got paid to run around the woods and take photographs. And finally, after 40 years, my dream has come true. So I looked right at her and I said, be patient, and in 40 years, you'll get to do exactly what you want.
I'd like to add just one thing, working with Marty as many years as I have. He's always done the greatest job of all. And I'm afraid when you leave, the pillar of this building, the structure might just collapse a little bit. Because you've done such a
Because I've been up against it.
you've done such a great job. The best to you.
Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to quickly read this and then, but thank you. So this is kind of Oswego State of New York Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Marty Weiss in recognition of honorable public service in the employment of Oswego County, presented as an expression of appreciation for dedicated service for the benefit of Oswego County and the welfare of its citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have an employee recognition of Robert Chetney for 30 years. I'd like to call up the Finance and Personnel Committee. Please invite Carol Alma, Legislator Schott, also please. Legislator Weatherly.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And the second. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Tough act to follow, Bob. Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Robert Chetney in recognition of honorable public service in the employment of Oswego County, presented as an expression of appreciation for dedicated service for the benefit of Oswego County and the welfare of its citizens. Thank you very much, sir.
Rob started with the county more than 30 years ago as a summer intern in the planning department, housing unit, and then moved to employment and training where he worked for 10 years supervising programs until we lured him away to personnel. And now he currently serves as an employee benefits administrator and really is my go-to, my trusted colleague and handling everything in that arena. It's really more than just employee benefits, it's workers' comp and payroll. He played an instrumental role, a lead role really in HR for the implementing the munis payroll system. But he also has leadership roles outside of the county. He is currently the president of the NISAC affiliate association for the counties that are self-insured, and has brought that conference to Oswego County in the past. So we, I couldn't do anything without, I couldn't do my work without him. Is definitely trusted and well-deserving of this recognition. And he also brings wit and humor to our department that is really needed on a stressful day. So our staff appreciates him in every way.
We have another employee recognition. Mark Rubin, Solid Waste for 30 years. I'd like to call the Infrastructure Facilities Technology Committee. Director Powell, Mark Roman, Legislator Walton will present.
1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I've actually known Mark a long time, a lot longer than we've actually been working. Probably neither he nor I envisioned, a 30-year career in solid waste management, but here we are. The Earth actually opened 33 years ago, and Mark's been there 30 years of it, and that's only a handful of people that have actually worked there their entire career. And Mark can attest, it's not always an easy place or an easy job. He served a number of those years as a mechanic, and he knows the facility inside and out, and that makes him a very valuable asset to our department. And I appreciate his efforts.
Okay, Mark, the County of Oswego, State of New York, Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Mark Blumen, a recognition of honorable public service in the employment of Oswego County, presented to us an expression of your appreciation for dedicated service for the benefit of Oswego County and the welfare of its citizens. Awarded the 19th day of September 2018. Congratulations. Thank you again.
We have another employee recognition. I'd like to ask Hope Simaluka, Office for the Aging, for 25 years. Call up the Human Services Committee, please. Sarah Sunday. And Legislator Trudell also join us, please. Legislator Reed will present.
On this side, please. Thank you. Thank you. No. Have everybody just speak in, please? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And the second. 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Well, I think I would defer to Sarah.
Well, I just want to say, Hope started at the Office for the Aging in 1993 with 2 small children, a child and an infant. Started as a case manager, and she's been a case manager since then. She really is the backbone to our program now. Our senior home care clients love her. She has really established working relationships, and our clients are long-term clients with our program. So she goes above and beyond. She'll bring home treats at Christmas and on birthdays, and it really takes a lot to get those relationships established, and we're so lucky to have Hope. And I'm glad to say that hopefully we'll have her for the 42 years like Marty did, or more.
Oh, do you want to say something?
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure working for the county. I really enjoy it. I still do so. There's a chance.
Well, we appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy our certificate of appreciation and appreciation of the legislature.
Next is a proclamation, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Human Services Committee, stay up front, please. I'll invite Sarah Gazin and other staff representatives to join them. Legislator Reed will present.
Yes, if I could have the legislators come up on the back shelf before you start. And I need some of you girls, 2 of you girls to come over on this side, 1 of you to come over on this side.
Tighten up. You can do it.
Okay. Make sure I can see everybody. Big quick smiling faces. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. In a second. 1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna be quicker. So you can do 1, 2. One more. 1, 2. Thank you. The Oswego County Legislature is proclaiming Domestic Violence Awareness Month for October 2018. Whereas 40 years ago, Oswego County's domestic violence program was created to assist victims and survivors in Oswego County and change the institutions obligated to protect those affected by domestic violence. In that time, our community has made significant progress in addressing the needs of victims and survivors. But as we gather once again to recognize October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we are reminded of the challenges these individuals still face. And whereas estimates show that 1 in 3 women in the United States will experience domestic or sexual violence, and each day an average of 3 women die at the hands of an intimate partner. Additionally, 1 in 15 children are exposed to domestic violence each year. And whereas misconceptions about domestic violence continue to persist in local communities, such as the notions that victims can just leave, when in reality they face many barriers, including reporting the abuse. Often survivors are given unrealistic expectations by the institutions meant to prevent them. And victim blaming is all too common. And whereas SAF searched more than 500 victims and survivors last year and answered more than 3,700 calls on its crisis hotline from those individuals. However, crimes of domestic and sexual violence continue to be vastly underreported. And whereas we acknowledge that awareness and education are critical components of prevention, but allowing victims and survivors the space to safely come forward without fear of retaliation and judgment is imperative. The Me Too movement shows us that cultural and social change is possible by continuing to raise awareness. We hope it will empower survivors to courageously come forward and regain the power and control that is taken away from them. And now, therefore, on behalf of Shane Broadwell, Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature, and on behalf of our entire legislature, I do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I call on all citizens and county officials to take a survivor-centered and trauma-informed approach to working with victims and survivors. Listen to them, support them, and hold offenders accountable. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Can I have a few words?
Sure. Well, we have a large group up here because it really takes the work of our community partners in order to do the work that we do. So some of the people we have up here, we have representatives from the Department of Social Services, our District Attorney Greg Oaks, Sarah Sunday with the Office for the Aging, and of course you all know Bob Whitehall. He actually sits on our Domestic Violence Coalition. So we really want to thank the legislature, our community partners for the work that you do to help us in helping victims and survivors. And we look forward to continuing to work with you all so that way we can continue to serve victims and survivors. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up the Economic Development Planning Committee for Oswego County 4-H month. Judge Cornell Cooperative Extension, Paul Forestier, Linda Brosh, 4-H Youth Development Team. Legislative Stahl will present.
go ahead and start off reading. All right, Oswego County Legislature, we designate October 2018 Oswego County 4-H Month. Whereas Oswego County's young people are our most cherished Oswego County resource. In cooperative extension with the support of the Oswego County Legislature, serves the individual and group education needs of Oswego County rural and urban youth 4-H youth development program. And this year, over 11,000 Oswego County youth are acquiring worthwhile life skills through the teaching of hundreds of 4-H volunteers across the county. And now in this, the 97th year of 4-H in Oswego County and the 117th year in New York State, there are generations, literally tens of thousands of men and women who, through 4-H, have pledged their lives to clearer community thinking, greater community loyalty, larger community service, and better living in Oswego County. So therefore be it resolved that I, Shane Broadwell, Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature, and on behalf of the entire legislature and the residents of Oswego County, do hereby designate October 2018 as the Oswego County 4-H Month. And we commend the efforts of Cornell Cooperative Extension of Oswego County and the hundreds of 4-H volunteers for their priceless contributions towards stronger, healthier, and happier lives in Oswego County.
I've spent the past few mornings on my commute to work trying to figure out what I wish to say today. I had to come up here a few times to talk about the benefits of it. And I really don't know what additional to add. So I said, well, what have our 4-Hers gone on to do in just my little tenure of 19 years of being with this Oswego County Cooperative Extension Office? We have electricians, teachers, accountants, horse trainers, veterinary technicians, college professors, fiscal management at a bank. We have youth advocate workers, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have aeronautic engineers, we have people working in almost every industry out there in America, including the agriculture industry as farmers. And it's because of the 4-H Youth Development Program that they may have experienced a career that they may not have experienced or had an opportunity to learn about in school. Because 4-H is the first after-school program that there was. 4-H clubs started after school. The kids came home, they got off the bus, they walked home, and they went to the 4-H club theater. And it was there that they learned from 3:30 to 5 o'clock, learning about everything underneath the sun. And while today we continue to be the after-school program, we do have contracts to participate in after-school programs. Our clubs are meeting after school, some immediately, but some later in the evening. And they continue to learn about all of these careers that they have an opportunity to learn about, but also those careers that we haven't even imagined are going to be. So those 5-year-olds that are joining our program today, they can be the ones that figure out how do we go to Mars and beyond? How do we solve cancer? How do we figure out things I don't know? So with your continued support of Cooperative Extension and its 4-H program, not just by financially supporting us, but coming to our events, we can help our children in Oswego County continue to make Oswego County one of the best places to live. Thank you.
No, I'm all set. Wonderful. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
You can join us.
Okay, moving on. We'll look for objections or corrections in the minutes of the September 13th meeting minutes. I get a motion moved. Let's second that to press. Any discussion on last month's minutes? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Carries. Speakers and resolutions of the day.
Chairman, there is one.
Either one. Have Mary Ann Adams, please, from Cato, New York.
Can I stand?
Come on up.
Okay, thank you.
You'll watch the lights. You have 5 minutes, and as soon as it starts, you'll see the green light.
All right. Well, I have copies of what I'm going to say, so that ought to make it easier for everyone. And hello, I'm Mary Ann Adams. I am Conservation Chair for Onondaga Audubon. The reason I'm here is that our coverage area includes Oswego County, Lewis County, Jefferson, lots Onondaga County. We're spread out over a large area, and there are many issues. I'm sure you've heard about the Galoo Island wind project and also have thought about the cable. The 30-turbine wind project that has been proposed for Big Galoo Island will certainly have many effects. I believe it will be visible from Oswego if you're looking in that direction, because these are as tall as a 40-story buildings. It does not seem that the wildlife concerns have been adequately addressed in the Article 10 project package, and we also hope that you would be involved in the Article 7 process for the cable run by the Army Corps of Engineers. The possible fisheries impacts from the cable could be great. It cannot be buried along the entire floor of the lake. There's parts of it where it's going to be above the sand. So that means it's going to be 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and that will certainly raise the water temperature. And nobody knows exactly the impact that will have on fisheries, and that's why many of the fishermen and fishermen groups are concerned about this. Galoo Island has been a traditional nesting spot for the bald eagle prior to the DDT era, and a pair of bald eagles has recently established themselves on the island. Young bald eagles are not born knowing how to fly very well, and if there are turbines anywhere near a young bald eagle learning to fly, the bird would not be able to survive. If the project were approved and built, they definitely would remove the eagle nest from the island, because that wouldn't be possible to leave it there. A study produced by the town of Henderson clearly indicates that property values will be adversely affected, and even though the turbines are distant, many residents may not wish to view them. The project is also located, this is my main point, the project is located in a very ecologically sensitive area of Lake Ontario, being proximal to Little Galoo Island, which is the largest colonial waterbird colony in the eastern Great Lakes. Turbine impact on the colony could reduce the population and bird watching opportunities. A species of concern is Caspian terns, and you can see them flying along the shoreline here. They breed on the island. Ring-billed gulls breed on the island as well. Maybe people would like to see fewer gulls, but unfortunately, other species like terns are also there. In our opinion, the product package submitted to the Public Service Commission by the developer is very flawed. Many errors within it strongly suggest that the Article 10 process ought to be slowed, and the project proponent should be required to provide correct information. For example, the project package did not state anything about bald eagles being present on the island. Now, how can you overlook that? While the Article 10 process is underway, there's opportunity for Oswego County to provide comments. I've listed the website there. Related to the cable, I'm sure you know that there is a hearing coming up in Oswego on the 17th for the opportunity to talk to them directly yourselves. So in summary, Onondaga Audubon requests that Oswego County government get involved in the Galoo Island wind project, even though it's pretty far away from here. There are potential impacts for all of us who share the eastern Lake Ontario basin, and the major industrial destruction of one of the largest islands in the eastern basin must be given consideration. The project merits close scrutiny to assure that the cost-benefit ratio is worth it to all of us. Based on current information, we do not believe the project is justifiable, and we hope that Oswego County will join us in scrutinizing this proposal. Thank you very much for listening. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Reports of county officials. I'll take one. A report from the county treasurer for everybody. If you please make note, some of the properties at auction. Coming back around, there will be another county property auction November 14th, Wednesday at 11 a.m. There's roughly between 6 to 10 properties will be auctioned off here at the legislative office building. So the legislators will take note. There will be another county tax auction for those remaining properties here Wednesday, November the 14th at 11 a.m. here at the legislative office building. Reports of standing committees. Senator Dow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On Thursday, the 27th of September, the inaugural meeting of the Veterans Services Agency was conducted. The meeting was established, or the committee was established at last month's legislative meeting. The agenda included introduction of members and swearing in of all the members, the discussion of the mission of the Veterans Services Advisory Committee, and the discussion of the Veterans Services Agency mission and role was presented by Director Hamlin. Discussions of community events and open discussion occurred as well. I'd just like to take a moment to thank the members of the legislature for nearly unanimous support of the committee, its endeavors, and our veterans. And we have a scheduled meeting as well come up on October the 25th that will occur, and the members of the legislature will be invited. You'll receive those. So we're able to kick off the Veterans Services Advisory Committee. Things went well. As expected, again, thank you to those members of the legislature that support.
Thank you. Reports of special committees. Moving on to resolutions and motions. Resolution number 1, Legislator Holst.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution appointing an individual to fill a vacancy in the office of county legislator and in for the 3rd legislative district.
Yes, this has to be amended. The name of Ed Gilson, and the date will also have to be changed. The term ending on December 31st, 2019.
Second. I would also note that it references the 18 general election, which should be the 19 general election.
Okay, a motion, a first and a second to amend. Any discussion on it? All in favor to amend?
Aye.
Back to the original resolution. As amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. As introduced, but I don't believe he is here today, from what I understand. Resolution number 2, Legislator Stahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Make this resolution that urges adoption.
Clerk, read that.
Resolution authorizing the chairman to enter into a contract with the New York State Department of State and to establish budget lines for the acceptance and disbursement of funds for the Riverfront Access Project.
This is the administrative side of the good news of winning money. So we've got $103,000 to do a boat launch, and this is the process we need to do in order to get it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 3, Legislator Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the reclassification of one position in the district attorney's office.
As a result of the recent study from CGR regarding retention of positions in that office, this is one recommendation that has come forward. We're an assistant district attorney, and we're elevating that individual to a senior assistant district attorney, just trying to work along from that study that we have been presented with.
Yes, thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 4, Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification to transfer funds from the insurance recovery fund to the highway supplies and expenses.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just looking to move funds from the insurance recovery fund to the highway supplies and expenses in the amount of $7,091.51 recovery fund allocated lines.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 5, Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification to transfer funds from unclassified revenue funds into highway supplies and expenses mechanic.
As was familiar last month, we accepted money from the Caterpillar engine settlement, the amount of $4,060.74. We're just looking to move that to highways, supplies, and expenses.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 6, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution accepting a New York State Department of Transportation grant and establishing a capital project for the purpose of constructing a new airport terminal building.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we're most of us aware, there's been a lot of positive things going on at the airport. Our airport manager, Brandon Swartz, done an excellent job at helping us secure the grant. And the total estimated cost is $1,200,000 for the New York State share of 90%. For a total, or that brings a total of $1,080,000 and $120,000, which is 10% local share.
Understood. Any discussion? Let's go legislator Schott first.
I hope with the establishment of this new construction that perhaps schoolroom space is included, because the lack of pilots in the United States has been stated recently on national news. China is producing pilots by the thousands. We're so far below the rest of the world. So to try to make this project a win all the way around, I've been very hesitant. I really hope that classroom education is included.
Okay,
Thank you.
you. Legislator Consigli.
$120,000, that's coming out of the reserves.
That's coming out of the airport reserve that was established with the sale of the Syracuse Suburban Airport. And another, I think 12 is coming from highway supplies and expenses.
So the 120, we're going to have to replenish that reserve.
That reserve was established by the sale of the Syracuse Suburban Airport. It's restricted for use of the airport.
Legislator Castiglia, the county had an agreement on the closure of the Syracuse Suburban Airport, which we acquired by tax title with the FAA, to use the funds from that sale to improve for capital improvements at our county airport. So that reserve is unique compared to other reserves because the money will run out once depleted.
And we won't have to replenish.
You know, we don't have another airport that we sold.
Okay, all right. Good enough.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Legislator Sorrell.
I'd like to bring up a point of safety factor. The present terminal building does not have public access. It's inside the fence line. So any customers or anybody walking through there is on an active apron or aircraft are running or could run or taxi in. So at the present time, this safety factor is a factor. So this place will be out of that area so people, the public can get more access.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Quickly on that note, there will be, it'll be posted, an airport advisory group. I know Brandon has set it out. There's been months of a lot of action going on out there, but just on that note, for those who are on the airport advisory group, there will be a meeting out there. I think he's got coming up at the end of the month. So we'll look for that. Sorry, resolution number 7, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Solid Waste, to transfer funds from Insurance Recovery Fund into solid waste highway expense.
Once again, as written, looking to transfer funds in the amount of $43,180 to highway expense.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 8, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Solid Waste, Eastern Equine Encephalitis Grant.
May once send us an annual thing from Senator Ritchie's office for the fire amnesty. We're able to secure funds for about $20,000.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 9, legislator Walpole.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification to the Department of Solid Waste and Fuel Hazardous Waste Grant.
Again, accepting our annual hazardous household waste grant in the amount of $17,951.23.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 10, legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution increasing authorization of capital project number 41, countywide financial software upgrade.
Mr. Chairman, I'm actually looking to amend this resolution in the amount of $325,000 to $3,000.
The motion to amend,
Contractual expenses.
seconded by legislator Wilbur. Any discussion?
Yeah, just, why? Just,
I have a why.
why the drastic change? Just an explanation.
The committee decided to amend this to pay simply the overdue bills that are part of this resolution and take it up in the regular committee session for the rest of it. Okay, thank you.
For the sake of signing,
Do we have copies of the bills?
That's why we moved it back to regular committee so we can look into it further. These are the contractual bills that need to be paid for the safety agreement.
discussion, somebody else over here? Any other discussion? Well, we're at the motion to amend. All in favor to amend?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, back to the original resolution to $3,000 now. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
One opposed.
Thank you. That was 10. Resolution number 11, and 12. On to resolution number 13. We're going to ask Legislator Sorbella to read that, please.
Mr. Chairman, present this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification of Health Department cost of spraying to control disease-carrying mosquitoes.
If you recall, September's been a very warm month, and because of that, the mosquitoes decided to use an extra batch of mosquitoes and that triple E. So we had to spray, and that's where this comes into.
Is there any discussion?
I was just wondering why we didn't budget for that at all, because it says that we didn't budget for spraying. Is that, I can't remember if that's an every year thing that we don't budget for it, or?
That's a good question from the county administrator.
We typically don't budget for that because we don't necessarily spray every year. And it also affects, increases the amount of reimbursement we can get.
I understand we can reimburse it, I was just wondering why we didn't budget for it. So, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Resolution number 14, legislator Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution amending resolution number 129 of 2018.
This was a position that was mistakenly left out of a resolution that was passed previously, and this resolution rectifies that.
Very good. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
One opposed.
Resolution number 15, legislator Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification of Department of Social Services to transfer funds from appropriated fund balance to cover foster care expenses.
This is an amount that we've estimated we'll need to get through the year due to increase in foster care placements. And I would like to amend this to from $2 million in the budget mod to $1.6 million.
Motion to amend second by legislator Wilbur. Discussion on the amendment.
I just wondered why we made the amendment.
Bill?
As you know, we're deep into budget right now, going into 19, so we're scrutinizing all the lines and watching them trend. And over the past week, since this initial request was put in, I spoke with the commissioner, and we both agree that we can, this should be amended down to 1.6, looking at more recent trends in that line. But it's still an increase.
And that'll take us to the end of the
To
year.
the end of the year.
Is there any other discussion on the motion to amend? All in favor of amendment?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That be the resolution now to go 1.6. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 16, legislator Leo.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution for its adoption.
Will the clerk read that?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services to accept federal and state SNAP bonus award funds.
This is to accept $104,170 in bonus award funds.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 17, legislator Leo.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read that?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Office for the Aging, additional New York Connects grant funding.
This is to accept and allocate $70,000 in New York Connects grant funding for the Office of Aging.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. On to resolution number 18, legislator Leo.
Mr. Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Youth Bureau vacation buyback.
It's a vacation buyback in the amount of $1,822.95.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed?
One opposed.
Now, resolution number 19, legislator Weather.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk read the heading?
Resolution authorizing payment to the Internal Revenue Service backup withholding audit for 2015.
Yes, thank you. This is simply a routine audit by IRS. Through negotiations with the treasurer, we dropped from an excess of $150,000 to $11,371.72.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. Thank you. Resolution number 20, legislator Weather.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Clerk read the heading.
Resolution designating a Oswego County Treasurer as the responsible official to correct clerical errors and errors in essential fact under real property tax law 556.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is basically as read by Clerk Jones.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Carries. That concludes resolutions and motions. Under unfinished business, miscellaneous business, motion to adjourn. Legislator Twist, seconded by Legislator Pafalia. Legislator Weather, is there anybody in the public comment?
No, Mr. Chairman, there are none.
There is not. Thank you for coming. Have a nice night.